Hello everyone and welcome back to the 2024 Oshkosh World Cup. Round of 32. We've got just a few more matches to close out the weekend. One final block. We'll be kicking things off with the number one seed, United States, taking on the 32nd seed, Estonia. I'm Doland and I'll be joined by Toph Daddy.
How's it going? We got an interesting match, the highest seed disparity of any match of this tournament. Like you said, 1 versus 32, but we've seen some crazy stuff happen this weekend. Lots of low seeds have been taking points off of the top seeds, and I'm excited to see what Estonia does here.
And it looks like the United States winning the roll, and the United States will be banning out Nomad 1. Pretty standard strategy here coming out of the number one seed. Estonia will ban Hard Rock 2.
I think that's par for the course. I think a lot of the lower seeds have been taking Hard Rock 2 out, partially because of some of the practice requirements, and the low density high AR could be very challenging for lower seeded teams to handle. So just getting that out of the way makes sense. But Estonia will also have first pick here. I would expect Nomad 2 feels like...
That means the Americans won the roll and chose to defer, allowing the Estonians the first pick. And it's going to be Nomad 2.
Yeah. I think, interestingly enough, I think at least in like the standard community, choosing to pick second and ban first has become more popular as sort of a way to gauge what your opponent's doing before you have to make a selection. So it makes sense why the United States might want to do that.
Absolutely. I guess if you're already set on your ban and you know exactly what you're going to ban, and you don't want to wait to see what your opponent bans, then banning first is nice.
Yep, Nomad 2 coming out. United States putting up a roster with Lexi, Trent, and Colin. Estonia putting out 2-gamer and Giant and Sadu, it looks like, unless we see any last-minute swaps.
Another country making their debut here in the Catch World Cup today. We saw Iceland earlier, putting up some decent performances. Now we'll see Estonia.
Yeah, and that pick came out pretty quick from Estonia, so they have to be feeling at least more comfortable in this than everything else. Have a little bit of confidence under their belts on something like this, but they are against a freight train in the United States, so they're going to have to put up some good performances here.
Yeah, also noted that the United States might not be playing off the rip here their number one strongest roster for every map. They might want to be letting other players get some reps in, just strengthen the roster as a whole moving forward. That's not saying they're really trying to disrespect the Estonian players, but you might see different lineups for the American roster than you typically would here at around a 32 pool.
Yeah, certainly. But out of the gate, it looks like no misses so far. Sadu having a droplet miss, I believe. But no major issues so far for anyone. But Sadu does find the first combo break there, and that's going to give the United States an opening lead.
Yeah, Diantha's going to follow it up with a miss of his own, so that's 2 FCs down for Estonia. Advantage USA. And now there goes 2-gamer. That'll complete the chain miss for Estonia.
Yeah, and we're already seeing that lead absolutely balloon. Colin does find a break, so one of those misses is traded out by the United States, but Trent and Lexi both holding onto the double S's still should keep the United States at a healthy advantage for now, as Sadu and Diantha both find drops there.
Yeah, approaching that halfway mark. Score lead already 170,000 points. It's going to take pretty much a complete meltdown on the side of the United States. Bring this home for Estonia.
Yeah, a meltdown on the United States, plus the Estonian players holding on. We saw quite a few drops from Sadu and Diantha, so they're going to have to lock it in a little bit in the second guy if they want a chance to bring this back.
So far, the Americans not looking as if they will provide that opportunity. Colin has recovered. And still 2 FCs intact for the Americans in Lexi and Trent into the final quarter.
Yeah, Colin back up of that 200 combo. Looks like all the Estonian... Well, now that I say that, 2-gamer does find a drop, but Sadu and Diantha fighting a bit of footing, both holding on to getting up to that 400 combo mark, but no drops coming out from the United States, so Estonia is not going to be able to make that comeback in the second half of this chart here. It looks like the United States is going to open this up with a breakpoint.
Yeah, pretty solid stuff here from the United States. Only one miss coming out of Colin into the ending sections. And not a bad team score here from Estonia. It's just not good enough. A 2.7 million nearly for Estonia is pretty respectable from a 32nd seed, but 2 double S's and a 2 miss on the side of Colin there. And I'm pretty sure he found those misses back-to-back at the same time. So 1-0 United States, and they will open up with Nomad 3 as their first pick.
Going in order of the map pool so far, I mean, it makes sense to go with something like Nomad 3 after seeing their performance on Nomad 2. This also has a lower AR, though. Going below that 9 range makes it a little difficult to keep reading, and not to mention that these patterns, coupled with the lower approach rate, are quite difficult.
Yeah, that AR is definitely going to make things challenging here for the Estonian players. It's all in the rhythm and timing here, just awkward timings on dashes. We will see DeCreeper checking in for the United States.
Indeed, we're seeing a swap out for Estonia as well. Nyaro coming in. But it looks like this will likely be the rosters. We're looking at Lexi, Colin, and DeCreeper for the United States here. Nyaro, Sadu, and Dianthus in for Estonia. Another situation where Estonia is going to need to keep themselves locked in. United States, a strong team, likely going to have quite high scores. It really comes down to Estonia performing as best they can and hoping that the United States gives them an opening to take an advantage.
Indeed. Looks like the official is ready. K with the start command sends them on their way for round number 2. And we will see what Nyaro and the rest of Estonia can do here against the likes of Lexi, Colin, and DeCreeper.
Here we go, just waiting for everyone to load in for this Nomad 3 selection. And here we go. Already out the gate, seeing some of those awkward snappings. 2 misses coming out right away. Colin as well, trading one of those back. Looks like Nyaro's having a little bit of issue with some of these wiggle patterns as well. Dianthus finding a drop as well. So no full combos for Estonia already. 2 holding strong for the United States from DeCreeper and Lexi, with just that 1 miss early on from Colin.
And Estonia really struggling to kind of find any sort of footing here in the early stages. Now just getting to the 100 combo mark for several of their players as Dianthus finds another miss. And the United States looking solid. Just an opening miss from Colin. And that's it from the Americans.
Yeah, and about a third of the way through this map, we're already seeing a 270,000 point lead for the United States. Very strong pick for them as Estonia continues to find Braves. Dianthus now finding 1 Nyaro as well. Sadu does find a bit of footing, gets to 300 combos, so helping stave off the United States just a little bit. But with no misses coming out from the United States, it's hard to see a world where this 400,000 point gap shrinks at all.
Yeah, unfortunately that gap is just not going to shrink at all unless there's some misses on the left-hand side of the screen, and they have not provided any since the start. And DeCreeper will provide 1, but it's traded by Dianthus and Nyaro at the same time simultaneously, so again, that will not stop the bleeding as DeCreeper goes back to recovering combo. Only 1 FC remaining technically in the lobby. That's Lexi at the top left of your screen.
Yeah, and we actually do see Sadu as well, who had that 500 combo break as well for Estonia. So the last thing that was kind of keeping Estonia in this mat, now gone. Colin does trade a miss back, but it's going to be too little too late with that just about 700,000 point lead for the United States on this.
It's just Lexi cooking, and it will be a double S from the big man Lexi himself. United States taking a 2-0 lead with a very impressive team score on that one of 2.8 million.
Yeah, so strong opening pick from the United States. It is back in Estonia's wheelhouse, so they'll have the pick of the litter for what they feel most comfortable with. I could see a mixed mod 2 coming out from them, or maybe a mixed mod 1 if they feel more comfortable with that. I just don't know where you attack if you're Estonia, because the United States is such a strong team and they don't really have a weakness, as you might say, especially not in these earlier rounds.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good question. It's really hard to kind of figure out where to go when you are the 32nd seed. And mixed mod tends to be a popular place just because, you know, you've usually got one player who's decent on every other mod. We'll have to see.
There is a discussion. DT1 comes out as the pick from Estonia. This is their strongest mod, at least as far as qualifiers was considering. So not surprising necessarily to see them go for a DT pick, but United States, also a very strong DT team. Going to need Estonia to really perform to take this, but you know, with their strengths in DT, I feel like they're going to be a little bit more comfortable than they were on Nomad 3.
And I like that they're not essentially afraid here of the US's DT. They're like, you know what, this is our best mod. This is our best chance to maybe do something. So what if they're the number 1 seed? We've got to pick something.
Yeah, and it takes the pressure off of having to overperform on certain picks. It just gives you the comfort of saying, this is what I am good at, or what my team is good at, and I can trust that we're going to be able to play this without as many nerves as we might if we were going to pick something based on an opponent's weakness, so to speak.
2Gamer is now an American apparently, and now flying back to Estonia. And Sekre checking in. The captain of the roster for their his first map of the match here will be joined by Lexi Collin. We see Teconic Rabbit checking in for Estonia. Good to see healthy roster swaps on both sides.
Yeah, good to see. And it's also good to see like a lower seeded team like Estonia have the ability to swap those players in when they need to. Because for many of the lower seeded teams, we're seeing, you know, 4 or 5 man rosters where they just don't have the personnel to be able to swap. So having people you can get in and out of the match for breaks and, you know, for comfort levels on certain mods looks really good. And Teconic coming in for that DT mod should bode well for the Estonian team, as no breaks right out the gate from either team. So looking good on both sides as we are building up to that 200 combo, but Teconic does find the first break.
Yeah, Rabbit going down. That'll be the first miss. Advantage United States. He'll follow it up with another one shortly after. It's a 5 FC game. 2Gamer gonna drop.
Down to 4 FCs, 3 from the United States. Sadu holding down the fort for the Estonian side, but as I say that, they do find a break, so no FCs remaining for Estonia as all 3 stay intact from the United States. All 3 double S's, not to mention, also staying intact for the United States as that lead hits 200,000 just after the first quarter.
Yeah, Lexi Collin and Sekre looking really composed and really comfortable on this. Unfortunately for Estonia, as the misses just continue to come out, it's already essentially past the point of return as we approach that halfway mark. As the Americans still 3-way FCs, no misses to be found, and that's a 400,000 point difference.
Yeah, we are seeing Sadu lock it in a little bit, got up to that 200 combo mark. So getting a little bit of score back from the United States, but 2Gamer and Rabbit having some struggles getting themselves comfortable with this DT, as Saidu also finds a break alongside them. Lexi still holding on to the double S, all of the United States players still holding on to the FC, and I mean, it's 500,000 points going into the last third. There's going to have to be a complete meltdown for anything to kind of happen here. Lexi does find a break, first break from the United States on this map.
Would unfortunately take a disconnect at this point, because at this point that gap, it's almost getting into the point of 2v3 potential here. If that score gap gets another 140,000 points wider in this last bit, even a disconnect won't be able to save him, unfortunately. And the US just looking so strong with Khalid Sakre still FCing.
Yeah. Coming up to the last few notes, looks like the United States is going to be able to hold on, take their third point in this match with a 2.97 million team score. Taking that over Estonia brings it back to their own selection. And really, United States kind of doesn't have to worry about what they pick. I think they could go with anything that whatever they feel comfortable with, basically.
Yeah, I really just think they're going to probably stay away from mixed mod. I think that would be the only areas that probably venture to say they're going to pick a Hard Rock or Double Time. And yep, it is going to be Hard Rock 1.
Hard Rock 1 makes sense. Hard Rock 2 was banned out by Estonia. High approach rate could be kind of challenging, especially for the lower seeded teams. And Hard Rock has been one of the United States' strengths for 8 years now, so and that hasn't changed.
Yeah, no, that has not changed at all. The United States have always been well-versed on Hard Rock and Hidden. Quite a capable mod team. But I just think, that in this situation they wanted to just avoid picking anything that could be seen as comfortable on the side of Estonia, and that would likely be a mixed mod or a no mod.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one no mod selection remaining. It's just the convert pick, and as far as no mod goes, usually that's the convert is the one that players are least comfortable with, unless they're well versed in the convert game, which has gotten less common, I think, over the last couple of years.
I don't know this Sekre character and what he's talking about. I only know Chicken Bible.
I only know that. Who's Sekre?
Yeah, who is this? Who is this Sekre character? But anyway, we're going to be getting into round number 4 here. Hard Rock 1.
We do see Lexi taking the hidden, potentially a comfort thing, potentially a reading supporter, but that's the only hidden we see out of everyone. Opening out of the gate, 2Gamer does find a early combo drop, so United States going to take a small advantage out of that, but everyone else holding on strong in this intro.
Yeah, but there's an early miss for Dianthus. Just slight misplacement of the platter there. It's going to be a slight advantage for the Americans here, about 40k.
Yeah, but definitely not too big of a lead. That one miss from Dianthus and 2Gamer, not too impactful as far as score goes so far. And now everyone above that 200 combo mark, so everyone getting full points for the notes now. And Estonia looking more comfortable in this than they have, but 2Gamer is going to find a drop there.
Yeah, definitely had a chance to at least capitalize off a potential American miss, but now with that double miss coming through from 2Gamer and Sadu, it's not looking like that's going to be possible for the time being. The Americans still 3-way FC and 3-way double S'ing.
Yeah, Sadu does find a break, 2Gamer as well, and that is a full team wipe from Estonia there as the 3 FCs on the side of the United States stay intact, and that lead is starting to really blow up now.
Halfway through the map now, and still a 3-way FC. Only one double S remaining, it's Colin. Freestyling on everybody as usual. But Estonia now, with some combos, trying to build back up to 200 and maybe make something happen, but that score gap is so wide that they're going to need far more than even a full team reset. They're essentially going to need the Americans to start chain missing and having problems.
Yeah, and given how the rest of this match has gone, that's not a likely scenario, but we are back above 200 combo across the board. And as soon as I say that 2Gamer finds a drop, I need to stop talking and think I'm cursing them too.
Oh, Colin goes down as well. But unfortunately for Estonia, they are going to need far more help than that, and really doesn't seem to be much they could do at this point. Lexi and Sekre still holding things down quite well. Colin on the recovery. Sadu has put in a valiant effort here in this back half of the map with 500 plus combo to try and make something happen for Estonia. It's going to be too little too late.
Yeah, we're continuing to see drops from Dianthus as well. That score lead now above 300,000 as we're getting into the last few notes in the map. Looks like the United States is going to be able to hold on for their 4th point in the match. It is Estonia's pick, so the United States will not have control necessarily over the destiny, but they have been performing extremely well. Estonia is going to need to pull out something if they want to start reversing the momentum.
Yeah, make it 4-0 for the United States of America. And as you said, Estonia, because the Americans elected to defer, will have at least the potential final say in the potential final map of their first match in the World Cup. But we'll see what it comes down to. As you said, the only no mod left is the Convert no mod 4. And we'll get a full look at the map pool.
Yeah, with the position that Estonia is in, I almost feel like mixed mod is the best. I feel like mixed mod is the best option in general, but they do have a few things they could try. Hidden is open, though the United States' hidden team is extremely good this year. But yeah, no mod 4 is a scary pick. They've already lost a DT map. I would be looking at mixed mod if I was Estonia.
Definitely think that's one of the more comfortable picks for him, would be mixed mod 1 or 2. But like you said, they could. It looks like they're thinking about hidden 2. And it is going to be hidden 2.
Very interesting decision going with the low approach rate hidden map.
I like it because you have to challenge ultimately something like this gimmick. You're kind of banking also on the fact that your opponents essentially they're not going to 3-way FC it. They're not going to be putting up 2.7, 2.8 million points on something like this. You know, the United States do have some good hidden players, but this is one of those maps where not many teams are going to have 3 players that can just dominate a hidden 2 pick.
Yeah, it also is, putting a challenge up to the United States in general, just from having to adjust to the change in approach rate, because we just finished off a hard rock pick at AR10, and now we're moving all the way down to 8.3. Now, Estonia also has to make that adjustment, but it's potentially a strategic pick to try and make it less comfortable for the United States, despite, their strengths in the hidden category at least this year.
Yeah, we'll see if it's a calculated pick here. No timeouts called yet. Both teams still have that left if they want to burn it. But it looks like that will not be the case. As when most teams, when they know what they want to do, they're ready to hop right in and get it over with.
Indeed. We'll have to see how these players adjust to the lower approach rate. And, this might be realistically Estonia's best chance. And they're going to need to do something now, or they're going to be knocked into the loser's bracket here. It is a match point for the United States.
Indeed, match point. I don't know if this would be their best chance, considering it's kind of one of the last maps that they've elected to pick here, but it's definitely an untested area of the map pool. Hidden has not been picked, mixed mod has not been picked, and so far it's looking pretty good for the United States. Misses coming out from Nyaro and 2Gamer.
There's a mistrade back from Colin, though. Just 2 FCs remaining for the United States. Staudu holding it down for Estonia, though they do just find a miss right after the 200 combo, so that's going to be fully lost points from that combo. Trent trades it back, though, so just 1 FC remaining in the entire lobby.
Yep, Colin also going down, so now the misses are coming out from the Americans, but unfortunately there's no combo on the side of Estonia, and Lexi is just absolutely devastating the entire country of Estonia right now, putting up massive damage, single-handedly putting this out of reach as Trent now recovers footing, and gets back up to that 200 combo mark.
Yeah, and we hit the halfway point with about a 400,000 point lead in favor of the United States. Just looks like Estonia is not able to find their footing on this hidden pick. The reading may be a little bit too challenging for them to be consistent on it, though. 2Gamer building up a little bit of combo, almost up to that 200, but does find a break just before they make it. Trent now back above 200 combo, though Colin having a few struggles on this hidden pick.
And hidden 2 picks, unfortunately, just because it's a low AR hidden map always, those maps are so hard to recover your mental ground when you miss, because you want to quickly rebuild combo. You know, your brain thinks I've got to get the combo back up quickly, but it's a slow map. You can only rebuild combo as fast as the map will let you.
Yeah, not to mention that the max combo for this is just under 800, so not even much of an opportunity to hit that 200 combo mark after missing a couple of times, but that is going to be a very strong performance from the United States, taking their final point and completing the sweep over Estonia.
Yep, that will do it. Estonia clocking in just under 2 million points. Unfortunately, didn't pan out the way they'd expected. Lexi coming in with a double S, because that is just what Lexi does. What else can you say about the man? GG, I guess. A good effort from Estonia in their first match. They will not be limited. They'll be facing Mexico in the losers bracket next week. And the United States will be advancing to the round of 16 in the winners bracket, where they will face the United Kingdom.
Indeed, but that is not the last match of this weekend. We've still got one more coming up in about 35 minutes. That'll be Peru versus Spain to round out this weekend of matches.
Indeed. And before we leave and take a quick break, we want to remind you to buy tournament banners. They help support the tournament, and they're beautiful. They make your profile look amazing, and they're available in the Oz store right now. Like, as in right now. What are you doing? Go. Support the tournament. I think you can get more than one, right, Toph?
Yes, you absolutely can get more than one banner. You can get all 32 banners if you really want to. And, I mean, that sounds like a great way to support this tournament and the players.
Go insane. But anyway, we're going to be taking a quick break for now, and we'll be back in 30 minutes for Peru and Spain to wrap up the round of 32.